You are not what you say. You are what your soul believes. Carl Jung. The Neuroprogramming Secret of Positive Affirmations. Rewire your brain for success. Tell me, have you ever whispered a positive affirmation to yourself? I am worthy. I am capable. I am rising. And felt a quiet voice inside respond, almost mockingly, no, you're not. Why is it that in the very moment you speak light into your life, your mind can summon a shadow? Why do some people transform their lives using affirmations, turning poverty to abundance, anxiety to grounding, confusion to clarity, while others repeat the same sentences for months and nothing changes? What is the hidden mechanism, the unseen neuroprogram that makes a simple sentence become a psychic force or an empty echo? This question opens the door to today's journey. Because what you are about to explore is not merely about positive thinking. It is about internal coding, the electrical choreography of your neurons, the magnetic intentions of your emotional body, and the unseen architecture of your consciousness. Today, we are stepping into the cosmic workshop where identity is forged. We are entering the space where psychology meets energy, where neuroscience meets ancient wisdom, where the inner voice becomes the inner architect. This is the realm of neuroprogramming and the true secret behind why affirmations can rewire the brain for success or fail completely. The moment you speak a word, you ignite a universe. Think of this. Right now, inside your brain, a constellation of neurons is firing. Small lightning storms of identity, belief, and memory. Every thought you have is a spark. Every belief is a pattern of sparks. Every affirmation is a deliberate rerouting of lightning. The question is not, do affirmations work? The question is, do you know how to speak to your brain in a language it understands? You see, the subconscious mind is not logical. It is symbolic, emotional, ritualistic, and energetic. It responds to rhythm, imagery, repetition, and emotion. The same ingredients that make ancient mantras powerful and modern neural networks malleable. Affirmations become powerful when spoken in alignment with the body, the breath, the nervous system, the emotional field, and the deeper self. When they are not aligned, they bounce off your psyche like pebbles on steel. The hidden contradiction within most people. Most people do affirmations the way they set New Year's resolutions, with hope, but not inner agreement. They say, I am confident, while their nervous system whispers, I don't feel safe. They repeat, I am wealthy, while their subconscious still holds childhood programming like, wealthy people are greedy, money is stress, success equals sacrifice. They declare, I am strong, but the emotional body still carries unprocessed disappointment, shame, trauma, or fear. Affirmations spoken from the mouth but rejected by the inner system create friction, not transformation. Neuroscience agrees. If a statement contradicts your core beliefs too strongly, the brain perceives it as a threat, not an opportunity. The ancient mystics agree. A mantra must be in resonance with your inner vibration for it to unlock its power. This is the paradox that few people ever learn to navigate. The universal principle, identity creates reality. Every dimension of your life, your health, your relationships, your finances, your career, your parenting, your choices, your habits, your boundaries, they all flow from one source, your identity. Not who you want to be, not who the world thinks you are, but the identity encoded deep within you, the one written into the folds of your subconscious. Identity is the author of your thoughts, your behaviors, your emotional reactions, your capacity to hold abundance, your tolerance for love, your vision for your life, your willingness to try again, your ability to rise. So when you change identity, you change everything. This is why affirmations are powerful. They are attempts to shift identity. But shifting identity requires a deeper alchemy, not just reciting sentences like a parrot, but using sentences as spells, as vibrations, as intentional codes that reshape the inner self.
A cosmic perspective on affirmations. Across ancient traditions, from Vedic mantras to Egyptian invocations to Stoic self-assertions, affirmations were never used casually. They were used with breath, posture, energy, intention, and ritual. A mantra was not merely spoken, it was embodied. A declaration was not simply said, it was lived in the moment it was uttered. Words were considered tools of creation, vibrational mechanisms that shaped the inner and outer worlds. The Hermetic principle states, all is mind, meaning the universe itself is mental. Reality is shaped by consciousness. Your inner programming designs your outer world. Modern neuroscience echoes this. Neural pathways strengthen through repetition, emotion binds memory, imagery accelerates recoding, and identity-based affirmations produce profound behavioral change. There is no contradiction between ancient mysticism and modern brain science. They are mirrors reflecting the same truth through different languages. The real secret you were never taught. Positive affirmations only become powerful when they do two things simultaneously. 1, they bypass the inner resistance of the mind by aligning with your subconscious rather than clashing with it. And 2, they activate the nervous system into a state of coherence so the statement becomes a lived experience, not just an idea. When this happens, something extraordinary unfolds. Your affirmation becomes a felt truth, a visceral reality, a new emotional baseline, a new identity pattern. And once identity shifts, your inner world, habits, relationships, finances, health, and destiny all begin to reorganize themselves around this new internal broadcast. This is neuroprogramming. This is conscious evolution. This is self-mastery in its purest form. The invitation of this journey. In this video, you and I are going on a deep journey through your inner architecture. We will explore the illusions that block affirmations from working, the neuroscience that explains how identity rewires itself, the ancient wisdom that shows how language shapes destiny, the energetic principles behind emotional resonance, the symbolic narratives that mirror your inner landscape, and the practical tools that turn affirmations into transformation. By the time you reach the end, you will understand not only how affirmations rewire the brain, but how to speak to yourself in a way that your soul and mind both hear. This is the turning point, not just for your mindset, but for every dimension of your conscious life. Your health, your emotional equilibrium, your clarity, your character, your relationships, your financial expansion, your creativity, your leadership, your legacy. All of it emerges from the inner voice you empower or silence.
Illusions, truths, and the hidden architecture of the subconscious. There is a moment, quiet, almost imperceptible, when a human being realizes that the world they are experiencing is not the world as it is, but the world as they are. This is the crux of neuroprogramming. This is the hidden doorway between repeating positive words and transmuting your inner identity. To understand the true power of affirmations, we must first understand the invisible forces that shape our internal reality, the illusions we inherited, the truths we forgot, and the mechanisms of mind that steer our destiny beneath the surface of consciousness. The first illusion is that thoughts are light and weak. Most people treat thoughts casually, as if they were tiny flutters of mind, soft, harmless, weightless. But thoughts are not weightless. Thoughts have gravity. A belief is a gravitational field. A repeated sentence becomes a groove in the mind. A persistent self-concept becomes a planet you orbit whether you like it or not. The Hermeticists called this mental causation. Modern neuroscientists call it neuroplastic consolidation. Both point to the same truth. The mind is a sculptor, and every repeated thought is a chisel strike shaping your inner world, which in turn shapes your outer world. Your affirmation is not a mere phrase. It is a new gravitational pull that attempts to reorient your inner cosmos. The second illusion is that the subconscious mind is silent. Your subconscious is never silent. It speaks first, it speaks fastest, and it speaks beneath awareness. It controls your emotional reactions, your body language, your posture, your tone, your cravings, your habits, your sense of worth, your tolerance for success, your instinctive responses to challenge, your ability to hold love, your beliefs about money, your definition of possible. The subconscious mind is a kingdom, ancient, symbolic, ceremonial, and affirmations are attempts to dethrone old rulers and crown new ones. But here is the truth. You cannot bypass the subconscious. You must work with it, speak its language, earn its trust, and align your internal world before you can change your external one. The third illusion is that the brain works like a computer. No, the brain is not a computer. It is an ecosystem, dynamic, emotional, biological, and energetic. It responds to emotion more than logic, imagery more than information, repetition more than intensity, identity more than goals, meaning more than memory, safety more than dreams. Your brain's core function is survival, not success. This means your nervous system must perceive your affirmation as safe before it accepts it as true. If you say, "I attract abundance effortlessly," but your nervous system associates abundance with pressure or instability, your inner world will reject the statement. If you declare, "I am lovable," but your emotional body carries unresolved wounds from past betrayal or abandonment, the affirmation will feel like a threat, not a healing. Thus, affirmation is not simply thought. It is neural negotiation, a conversation between your conscious intention and your subconscious foundation. When both agree, identity shifts. When identity shifts, reality follows.
The ancient truth: words are spells. Every culture that understood consciousness, the Vedic sages, the Tibetan monks, The Egyptian priests, the Stoic philosophers, knew the same truth. The spoken word is a tool of creation. The Sanskrit term mantra means a tool of the mind. The Egyptian word hekau means words of power. The Stoics spoke of logos, the divine rational principle guiding the universe expressed through language. In these traditions, a spoken phrase is not a wish. It is not a motivational slogan. It is a code, a signal, a reality blueprint, a seed planted in consciousness. Words shape emotion. Emotion shapes behavior. Behavior shapes identity. Identity shapes destiny. Ancient wisdom knew this. Modern neuroscience confirms it. The shadow of affirmations, internal resistance. Imagine you are sitting at a calm lake. You whisper an affirmation, a pebble dropped into still water. But if the lake has storms beneath the surface, the pebble disappears without ripple. This is what happens inside you when you speak words but carry emotional contradictions. If your affirmation says yes, but your subconscious says no, the subconscious wins every time. Why? Because the subconscious mind controls about 95% of your decisions, habits, and perceptions. Affirmations fail not because the words are wrong, but because the inner agreement is missing. This is why affirmations rooted in identity are far more powerful than affirmations rooted in desire. I am wealthy is weak if your subconscious believes I am not enough. But I'm becoming aligned with abundance bridges the gap. I am confident may create resistance if you feel unsafe in your body. But I'm learning to trust myself meets you where you are. Affirmations must speak the truth of your becoming, not the denial of your current state. The paradox of control versus surrender. There is a tension inside every human being. The part of you that wants control. I must change my mind. I must rewire myself. I must fix everything. And the part that knows the spiritual truth. You cannot force transformation. You can only invite it. Affirmations exist at this intersection, the conscious effort to guide the mind and the subconscious surrender into a new identity. You must do both. You must be the sculptor and the clay. You must speak the sentence and let the sentence reshape you. This is where psychology meets spirituality and where authentic transformation happens. The seen versus the unseen. When you speak an affirmation, you see the words, you feel the breath, you hear the sound. But what you don't see is far more important. The neurons that rewire, the emotional charge that dissolves, the old identity that loosens, the new energetic field you generate, the subtle shifts in posture, tone, and presence, the new choices you unconsciously move toward. Affirmations are not magic spells in the cartoon sense. They are subtle realignments of consciousness that gradually transform every dimension of your life. Health. You realize you are worthy of discipline. Emotional life. You learn to self-regulate instead of self-abandon. Intellectual clarity. Your mind sharpens because your self-concept stabilizes. character. You become congruent. Your actions match your identity. Spirituality. You reconnect with your higher nature. Relationships. You stop shrinking, people-pleasing, or tolerating toxicity. Parenting and legacy. You break generational patterns. Financial life. You expand your capacity to receive and create wealth. Career. You show up with resonance, leadership, and grounded confidence. Quality of life. You experience more joy, freedom, and ease. Life experience. You become a conscious participant in your own evolution. Affirmations transform reality only when they transform identity, and identity transforms only when the deeper self accepts the message.
Myths, mirrors, and the inner alchemist's journey. There is a story older than scripture, older than empire, older than the written word. It is the story of the human being who must enter their own inner wilderness to reclaim the truth that was always theirs. Affirmations are not modern, and they are not merely psychological tools. They are echoes of an ancient ritual, the ritual of speaking oneself into alignment with destiny. To understand the neuroprogramming secret behind affirmations, we must step into symbolic terrain, where stories reflect our inner architecture and myths become mirrors for our evolution. Let me take you there. The parable of the alchemist in the cave. Centuries ago, in a forgotten desert, an alchemist sought the legendary stone, a symbol of mastery, transformation, and divine insight. He wandered through storms, through mirages, through nights so silent he could hear his heartbeat arguing with his destiny. One night, he found a cave, dark, uninviting, a mouth of stone opening into the unknown. Inside the cave, he heard a whisper, not with his ears, but within his chest. It said, "Speak the truth of what you are becoming." He whispered, "I am becoming wise." The cave stayed silent. He spoke louder, "I am strong. I am powerful. I am awakened." The cave remained unmoved. Then a deeper voice rose within him, a voice he had never allowed himself to hear. It said, "I am becoming the one I was afraid to become." And then something shifted. The cave glowed faintly. The darkness softened. The stone appeared. The alchemist understood. The universe responds not to who you pretend to be, but to who you are willing to become. Affirmations do not unlock power when they are declarations of fantasy. They unlock power when they are declarations of evolution. This is the inner alchemy affirmations offer, not a mask, but a metamorphosis. The symbolic truth of the alchemist's journey. The cave represents your subconscious, dark, unknown, full of echoes and memories. The stone represents identity, solid, foundational, magnetic. The whisper represents the wisdom within you that you have avoided, ignored, or silenced. Affirmations are not about shouting confident words into the universe. They are about whispering honest truths
into the chambers of your soul. The first affirmations may be small. I am becoming grounded. I am learning to trust myself. I am opening to abundance. I am choosing courage. These are not weak phrases. They are bridges. Bridges that carry you from the identity of who you have been into the identity of who you are becoming. This is real neuroprogramming. This is legitimate transformation. This is inner alchemy. The story of the wanderer and the mirror of fate emerges from a mountain monastery, whispered in Zen tradition. A wanderer arrived at the temple, seeking enlightenment. The master offered him a mirror, no ordinary mirror, but the mirror of fate. "Look," said the master, "and you will see your future." The wanderer looked, but instead of seeing anything external, he saw words appear around his reflection. I am unworthy. I am not enough. I fail. I don't belong. I can't. The wanderer trembled. "Master, is this my fate?" The master smiled softly. "This is not your fate. This is your script, and you have been reciting it for years, every day, silently, unconsciously, but faithfully." The wanderer wept. "What do I do?" And the master replied, "Write new words. Speak them until the old ones lose their grip. Rehearse the self you wish to become, not for the world, for the mirror." The wanderer took a breath and spoke new words into the mirror. I am growing. I am learning. I am becoming. I am worthy of the life calling me. I am capable of rising. And slowly, the reflection began to change.
The mirror is you. This story reveals one of the deepest truths of the subconscious mind. You do not see the world as it is. You see the world through the words you quietly recite about yourself. The mirror of fate is not a relic. It is your inner narrative. Every affirmation is a new engraving on the glass. If your mirror says, I am small, you will walk through the world hunched. If your mirror says, I am unlovable, you will shrink from love. If your mirror says, I am destined to fail, every opportunity will look like a trap. But if your mirror changes, your world changes. This is not poetry. It is psychology. It is neuroscience. It is energetic truth. The archetype of the dreamer at the edge of the abyss. Imagine a dreamer standing at the edge of an abyss. Below them, nothingness. Above them, possibility. Inside them, conflict. A whisper rises from within, not a command, but a calling. I am meant for more. But the shadows of old identity snarl back. You are not enough. You are too late. You will fail. You are foolish. You are unworthy. Stay small. The dreamer looks at their hands, empty, trembling, luminous. This, right here, is the moment affirmations were born for. Not for confidence when life is easy. Affirmations exist for the moment you stand at your own abyss.
when your old self grips your ankles and your new self pulls you forward. Speak an affirmation in a moment like that, and it becomes a rope, a lifeline, a bridge between who you have been and who you must become. Affirmations are not just sentences. They are declarations of war against the smallness you inherited and the limitations you internalized. They are invocations of the higher self, summons of the inner warrior, reminders of the divine spark embedded within your consciousness. The symbolic landscape of affirmations. Think of affirmations not as words, but as elements. Fire, the spark of intention. Water, the emotional resonance. Air, the breath that carries the phrase. Earth, the embodiment through action. Spirit, the consciousness that animates the transformation. When all 5 elements align, a simple sentence becomes a spell of self-creation. This is why affirmations work when they are felt, when they are embodied, when they are believed gradually, when they are spoken with breath, when they are integrated with action, when they are aligned with identity, when they are supported by emotion, when they are repeated consistently. You are not speaking a phrase. You are speaking yourself into a new shape. The emotional peak, a moment of truth. Take a breath now, slow and deep. You have heard the alchemist's whisper. You have faced the wanderer's mirror. You have walked to the edge with the dreamer. Now, ask yourself, what is the sentence that your soul has been waiting for you to say? Not the one you think sounds powerful, not the one society says you should affirm, but the one that feels like truth in its earliest spark. I am allowed to grow. I am opening. I am enough. I am awakening. I am choosing myself at last. This is where transformation begins, not in grand declarations, but in sincere ones. Symbolic truth becomes biological truth. Biological truth becomes behavioral truth. Behavioral truth becomes destiny. This is the power of neuroprogramming through affirmation. This is the inner myth you are rewriting right now.
How to use the neuroprogramming secret of affirmations in daily life. You now understand the deeper architecture, the myths, the neurobiology, the symbolism. But true transformation does not happen in abstraction. It happens in the quiet moments of your real life. When you wake up tired, but choose to rise with purpose. When you face a difficult conversation and choose truth over avoidance. When an old pattern returns and you choose differently. When abundance knocks and you choose to receive instead of retreat. When the old identity whispers, "Stay small," and you choose expansion anyway. This section is about that choice, the bridge between cosmic insight and practical integration. This is where affirmations cease to be sentences and become systems. They become frameworks. They become embodiments. They become anchors for identity. They become tools for success, healing, leadership, and legacy. Let us step into the real world together and explore how this neuroprogramming secret unfolds through the 12 dimensions of conscious living. The foundation, state, before sentence. Here is the first practical truth. Affirmations work best when spoken in the right state, not just with the right words. Your nervous system determines whether a phrase becomes a threat, a neutral noise, or a new identity pathway. So before speaking an affirmation, shift your state. 1. Slow your breath. Inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the state where the subconscious becomes receptive. 2. Relax your posture. An upright but soft posture signals safety, allowing the new identity to settle into your body rather than clash against it. 3. Place a hand on your chest or solar plexus. This creates embodied presence, bridging mind and emotion, a key element of subconscious acceptance. 4. Feel the affirmation before saying it. Emotion is the programming language of the subconscious. If you feel it even slightly, the recoding begins. The scientific spiritual method, the 3-level affirmation framework. To make affirmations truly transformative, use them at all 3 levels of identity. Level 1. Becoming statements. Lower resistance, high alignment. These meet you where you are. I am learning to believe in myself. I am opening to abundance. I am building confidence. I am choosing clarity. These statements root into the subconscious without triggering defensive resistance. Level 2. Identity statements. They reshape the self-concept. I am capable. I am worthy of opportunities. I am grounded and focused. I am a person who follows through. These statements shift the lens through which you interpret reality. Level 3. Embodied truth statements. They are a reflection of the identity that has crystallized. I am powerful. I am abundant. I am sovereign. I am aligned with my purpose. These are not tools for transformation. They are expressions of transformation. This 3-level framework ensures your affirmations grow with you and never feel like lies, fantasies, or empty mantras. Real-world dimension 1. Health and fitness. The body as temple. Every health breakthrough begins with identity. If you affirm, I am disciplined, while your subconscious still clings to, I can't stick to anything, your habits will sabotage you. Instead, start with, I am becoming a person who honors my body. I am learning to treat myself with care. I am building a stronger, healthier identity. The moment you shift from, I must force myself, to, I embody this, the body follows. Your workouts change. Your cravings change. Your sleep changes. Your energy changes. Health is not just physical. It is a reflection of self-concept. Real-world dimension 2. Emotional life. Regulation over reaction. Emotionally, affirmations become anchors. When you feel anxious, I am safe in this moment. I am grounded in my breath. I can hold this feeling without collapsing. When you feel overwhelmed, one breath at a time, I release the need to be perfect. I am learning to trust the process. Emotional mastery is not the absence of emotion. It is the sovereignty with which you navigate it. Affirmations remind the nervous system that you are no longer who you once were. Real-world dimension 3. Intellectual life, clarity, and focus. Your mind becomes clear when your identity becomes stable. Try these. I focus on what truly matters. I think deeply and act intentionally. My mind is organized, sharp, and present. You will find fewer distractions, less noise, and more precision. The intellect strengthens when the inner narrative supports discipline and clarity. Real-world dimension 4. Character, the true north.
Character is identity in action. Affirmations like, I do what I say I will do. I respond with integrity. I choose courage over comfort. These imbue your choices with purpose. They align your life with your highest self. Affirmation trains character. Character trains destiny. Real-world dimension 5, spirituality, the awakened self. Affirmations become spiritual when they point you inward. I am connected to something larger. I trust the intelligence within me. I listen to my soul's voice. These are not religious statements. They are reminders of the divine consciousness animating your life. Affirmations can be mantras that reconnect you to presence, intention, and transcendence.
Real-world dimension 6, love and relationships, the art of worthiness. Your relationships transform as your self-worth transforms. Affirmations like, I am worthy of love. I communicate with honesty and openness. I attract relationships aligned with my growth. When you speak these sincerely, your boundaries sharpen, your compassion deepens, your patterns evolve. Love becomes conscious, not chaotic. Real-world dimension 7, parenting and legacy, generational healing. Every affirmation you embody shifts the lineage behind you and the lineage ahead of you. When you affirm, I end the cycle, I model emotional intelligence, I raise the next generation through presence, not projection, you reshape the unconscious lessons passed through your bloodline. Your children inherit your energy more than your words. Your affirmations become their blueprint. Real-world dimension 8, social life, authentic connection. Social anxiety often stems from identity contradictions. Affirmations like, I belong where I am. I speak with clarity and confidence. I show up as myself. These shift your social presence from self-doubt to authenticity, and authenticity attracts tribe. Real-world dimension 9, financial life, abundance as identity. Money responds to identity. Affirm, I expand my capacity to receive. I create value with confidence. I am aligned with wealth that supports my purpose. When the subconscious accepts abundance, you take bolder actions, trust your abilities, negotiate more confidently, and stop self-sabotaging opportunities. Abundance is a frequency. Affirmations tune you into it. Real-world dimension 10, career, purpose, mastery, and leadership. Your career rises as you rise into your identity. Statements like, I create impact, I lead with clarity, I bring excellence to what I do. These shift you from passive worker to conscious creator, from follower to leader. Real-world dimension 11, quality of life, joy, and freedom. Affirm, I allow joy. I create beauty in my life. I embrace simplicity and peace. These reshape your daily choices and attract experiences that elevate your life's texture. Joy becomes a habit, not a coincidence. Real-world dimension 12, life experience, meaning, and transformation. Your entire life is shaped by the stories you tell yourself. Affirmations are the rewriting of your myth. They allow you to turn pain into purpose, mistakes into lessons, uncertainty into possibility, growth into destiny. This is not self-help. This is self-creation. Your identity is clay, and affirmations are the hands that shape it.
The identity you speak into existence begins now. Take one slow breath. You have journeyed through the architecture of the subconscious, the myths of the alchemist, the mirror of the wanderer, the abyss of the dreamer, and the practical world where every choice becomes an echo of the identity you choose to live. Now we arrive at the final moment, not an ending, but a threshold. Because the truth is this: you are not the person who started this script. You are not even the person you were a dozen breaths ago. Something has already shifted. Not because of the words you read, but because of the words you felt. Because of the identity you glimpsed between the lines. The one that has been waiting for you, calling you, believing in you, long before you believed in yourself. This final section is not merely a conclusion. It is an awakening, a return, a remembering. Let us step into it together. The truth you cannot unhear. Somewhere within you, there is a deeper self, calm, powerful, endlessly wise. A self unconditioned by fear, untouched by shame, unscarred by the past. This self does not hope, it knows. It knows that identity is fluid. It knows that destiny is not fixed. It knows that your inner narrative is the author of your outer life. You now understand. Affirmations are not phrases. They are frequencies. They are alignments. They are agreements with the future version of you that is already calling your name. When you speak an affirmation, you are not forcing yourself to change. You are remembering a truth your soul has always carried. The life waiting for you. Think of the dimensions we explored: health, emotional mastery, clarity, character, spirituality, love, legacy, financial abundance, leadership, freedom, meaning. These are not separate parts of life. They are constellations of the same sky. When you shift identity, every star rearranges itself. Your health becomes a reflection of self-respect. Your emotions become responses, not reactions. Your clarity sharpens. Your character strengthens. Your spirituality deepens. Your relationships become more conscious. Your parenting becomes more healing. Your social space becomes more authentic. Your finances expand with confidence. Your career becomes a calling. Your quality of life rises. Your experiences become meaningful. Affirmations are not responsible for all of this. You are. Affirmations merely awaken the truth already encoded within your being. The inner becoming. Now imagine something with me, not as fantasy, but as an inner vision. You wake up tomorrow, and instead of being pulled by old patterns, your first thought is aligned with who you are becoming. Not who you fear you are, not who the world told you to be, not who your past sculpted, but the identity you have chosen. Imagine standing with better posture, your breath deeper, your presence sharper. Imagine speaking with clarity, moving with purpose, acting with integrity. Imagine responding to challenges as the person you are growing into, not the one you are trying to leave behind. This is not imagination. This is inevitability when your inner narrative changes. Affirmations are the daily chisels, the gentle, repeated shaping of your new self. Today is your first strike of the sculptor's hand. The ritual of alignment. Transformation begins in moments, but it is anchored through ritual. To integrate everything you've learned, here is a simple but powerful daily ritual, one that integrates neuroscience, spirituality, and embodiment. Do this for 30 days. 1. 3 deep breaths. Nervous system alignment. Inhale for 4, hold for 2, exhale for 6. Calm creates receptivity. 2. Place your hand on your chest. Embodied truth. Remind your body that you are safe, present, and sovereign. 3. Speak 3 becoming statements. I am learning to trust myself. I am opening to abundance. I am becoming more confident each day. These soften resistance and align the subconscious. 4. Speak 2 identity statements. I am grounded and capable. I am worthy of success and love. Identity shifts here. 5. End with 1 integrated truth. I am here to rise. This seals the new frequency.
When the world begins to change around you, your identity shifts. Your relationships will feel different. Your decisions will become clearer. Your standards will rise. Your energy will stabilize. Your boundaries will sharpen. Your opportunities will expand. Your intuition will strengthen. People around you may notice something, though they won't be able to explain it. You will feel more aligned, more certain, more awake, more like yourself, your true self, than you have in years. Not because life magically got easier, but because you finally remembered who you are capable of becoming. The echo of transformation. There are moments in life when the path forward becomes unmistakably clear. Moments when the confusion fades, when the old identity loosens its grip, when the new self whispers, "Step forward." This is one of those moments. Right here, right now, between your breath and the next heartbeat. Every transformation begins with a single internal yes. A yes to possibility, a yes to becoming, a yes to the life calling your name. Today you said yes to this journey. Soon you will say yes to the next one, then the next. And before you know it, the identity you once wished for will be the identity you naturally inhabit. This is the quiet miracle of inner work. The inner work that is turning into outer reality. The call within the call. This script is not meant to give you answers. It is meant to awaken the answers within you. It is not meant to motivate you temporarily. It is meant to activate something permanent, a resonance, a clarity, a power, a becoming. You are not listening to this by accident. You were guided here by the version of you that already knows where you're going. A higher self pulling you forward. A future self calling you inward. A deeper self rising now. And now comes the moment where you choose to step across the threshold. The cinematic closing invocation. So hear this, not as narration, not as advice, but as a remembering. You are the author of your identity. You are the sculptor of your mind. You are the architect of your destiny. You are the alchemist of your energy. You are the creator of your reality. You are the voice that rewrites your inner world. You are the one you've been waiting for. And starting today, your words will no longer be whispers of doubt, but declarations of truth. Your affirmations will no longer be repetitions, but resonance. Your identity will no longer be inherited, but chosen. And your life will no longer be unconscious, but awakened. The final call to rise. If this stirred something within you, carry it, reflect on it, live it. And when you feel the pull to deepen this journey, return. Return to this channel. Return to this space. Return to yourself. Because every word here is designed to awaken the clarity, power, and truth already within you. This is not the end. This is the beginning of your next chapter.